Hello everybody, my name is Benji and welcome back to the Dyson Sphere program, where there has been an update, and I actually have not even looked at anything for the update yet, apart from a couple of things that I know, which are they added a jammer tower, which essentially slows down and jams the signal of things, and it requires a jamming capsule in order to actually work. So I think it sends out like an electromagnetic pulse of some kind in order to disrupt the dark fog advancing. And then that, of course, leads into a suppressing capsule, which is just a better jamming capsule. It looks like that. Does that require plain? No, it requires titanium glass, which is kind of wild that it requires that, but okay, sure. And then the other thing that they added a secondary plasma turret, I believe. Yeah, the SR plasma turret. Melt enemies within its range. Maintaining such a device on the ground is not easy. Be able to attack nearby targets. Constantly maintaining the excited plasma makes this ability very fragile and requires a large amount of power. So essentially, the plasma capsules, which require deuterium, can go into the plasma turret for ground-to-space combat purposes, but can also go into the SR plasma turret for ground-to-ground combat purposes. And then, of course, the antimatter capsule is something that goes into the plasma turret as a secondary weapon. That's not new, I just haven't ever done it before. And there's one other thing that I was made aware of. Here it is. The integrated logistics system, which adds the piler, creates a pile sorter, which automatically takes a pile stack of whatever max size you currently have researched and allows you, to automatically take that piled stack and transmit it without losing the pile effect, which is super duper nice. So that is 100% something that I will end up using. That is the only reason why I did not use pilers before, was because of the fact that I didn't really understand what the point of it was if the sorters just ruined the piling anyway. I would rather just have belts of unpiled materials because they're easier for me to wrap my head around. But I think that this makes it worth it. The purpose of today's episode, despite the fact that my power grid is currently shitting the bed, the purpose of today's episode is still going to be militarization for a couple of reasons. A, militarization is going to be cool, and B, I don't have a lot of time to record, and that's going to be super duper easy for us to actually move through and make work. So the first thing that I would like to automate is all of the different turrets, and I can kind of show what goes into automating the turrets. Also, that's a thing. They do, like, flight mode. I don't know how to feel about that at the moment. I really don't. I still need to take all of this down. I just haven't done that yet. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play, so I've just kind of been doing my thing. I would like more of these. That's also super duper valuable. I just skipped it. Interstellar logistics systems have been unlocked, which means we can have automated titanium and silica delivery from the secondary planet. And I can't wait to see what the what the Dark Fog Hive thinks of that. And we'll see in due time. And I believe that that is this one here, maybe? Because what does it require? The Interstellar Logistics Station requires... Okay, that's fine. One of these. I need to find where that's being requested. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Interstellar Logistics Systems being provided means Interstellar Logistics Systems being created right there. Of course, I don't have either of these actually running yet, nor do I have blue motors or titanium up and running yet, so that's just going to be that. And are you supposed to be? I mean... Oh, wow. They must really be messing things up over there. 19 units? Jeez. Okay, so this is supposed to be providing reinforced thrusters. Let me see if I can find the output. Here's the output. So this is supposed to be the new interstellar logistic vessel. Perfectly fine. And then, where are my normal logic vessels? There they are. And then my fidget spinner guys I've already done, which is super nice. I am getting so many notifications, I'm so sorry. Looks like the swarm is getting taken care of, though. And it looks like we didn't have any issues with that, which is super nice. However, we are, in fact, still suffering in terms of power, so we can't really charge that quickly, nor do I really have any power to supplement myself with in terms of this, so we're just kind of stuck. But what I want to do first, now that I can actually talk about it, is I would like to do all of the turrets. So starting off with the Gauss turret, it is a 4 input, 1 output system. Which means that we are going to need to have a 5th one here to actually give things to us. So going to transportation, we're gonna need these guys. Oh no, no. Why? Is it because of these rotations? It is because of these rotations. So the way that I have this currently is just kind of like a 5-point system where all of the inputs are on the top and bottom, and all of the outputs are on the other one, the horizontal. So in this case, what we're gonna have is deflection too much. Really? Deflection too much? A weird problem to have. I don't think I've ever had that before. Okay, so then how did these guys happen? Ugh, the things that you learn. Alright, fine. Let's widen the gap, shall we? Take this, take it, and no, that's too wide. Put it there instead. And then take these and put them here instead. And then put that one there. Now is it too much deflection? Okay, now it's fine. I guess it just got too low of a latitude then, maybe? So essentially all of these guys are going to come into the center where the actual building is going to be made. And now what we can do is for the iron, we can just copy, paste, and now it will have a single depot slot. It is requesting iron from the things, requests from other distributors, and then it actually goes into the distributor automatically. And then we can put our power pole just right there, exactly where it needs to be. Then in here, what we can do is we can copy and paste these settings, and then take this and turn it into this instead, and then limit this chest to like 4 stacks of Gauss turrets, right? And then these settings can be pasted to all of these. We need iron gears, so if I find the one for gears and put gears, and then find the one for copper magnet. I know for a fact that I have copper magnets going into certain things. There's copper magnets. So I can copy and paste the settings for the copper magnets. And then for the green chips right here and there. And now we have automated Gauss turrets, which is super duper valuable to have. And then we can just take this box recipe or box layout, copy it to everything else, copy this to here, and take a look at our next thing. our next thing is the missile turret. So we would like to have missile turret here instead. I can grab this and put it here. Grab this and put it here. Change this to missile turret. And then take a look at all of the inputs for the missile turret. We need green chips, so we can have green chips. We need these rockets, which we do not currently have, but will eventually have. We need steel, so find the one for steel. And we need motors, so find the one for motors. Place it down, and now automatically everything goes into that. So on, etc. I will do the same for the implosion cannon, and for the laser turret, and for the BAB, and for the signal tower, which requires these other things, which we have not done yet, and I'm going to save that for the next episode when I do interstellar logistics for the first time, which will happen eventually, don't worry. And then the planetary shield generator as well is going to follow along the very similar logic. The other thing that I would like to do for today is I would like to, first of all, automate engines. Engines are a thing that needs to be automated. Then I would like to do probably an automation line for the missile set, which requires, it looks like it's going to be 4 inputs. Yeah, 4 inputs no matter how I slice it here. Because copper and copper magnets plus circuits and coal. Actually, that would end up being 5 inputs. So yeah, 4 inputs, 1 output for the missile set, which is fine. And then I would also like to go through and do... Would like to do explosive shell sets, but I don't have any titanium at the moment. So I guess what we'll end up doing is engines, missile sets, and explosive units. I don't think that'll be too bad overall. And then next episode, we will probably end up doing the particle container, the titanium alloy, and more than likely solar sails, because I need to start making more power than this planet can currently sustain. And the reason why this planet can't sustain it is because of this. all the drones, man. The drones just go absolutely bonkers. And then I'll also do blue motors next time as well. I think that'll be a really good idea. And then the blue motors, I'm just going to tack on probably here, using green motors as an input, or more than likely. Because blue motors require green motors, magnets, and energetic graphite. And the green motors in and of themselves are already a 3 input, 1 output. This would add 2 more inputs to that. It's not something I'd like to do, so I just won't do it. And instead, what we're going to do right now is just the missile sets. So, first off, engines, which are just copper magnets and copper at a rate of 3 per second. So 3 machines to 1 per second. 3 times 6 is 18 machines. 9 on either side. I'm just going to round that up to 10, so that I can have 4 lines of 5, which will probably end up having to have this here. That. And essentially what's going to happen here is we are going to request in copper and request in copper magnets. Militarization isn't going to need as much of a priority as everything else, so we'll just do that. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have a central output in the center for 6 per second. Of course, that is too close. 2 belts coming along the outside, like so. I can actually move this a little closer, and I will. And then we're going to have 1 belt going in, 1 belt coming this way, and another belt this way, and then another belt coming this. So I'm going to build that. And then what I'm also going to do is walk through the actual missile set And then the explosive units. The explosive units is going to be pretty similar to what you see with the motors here, where the coal is going to come out and turn into the explosive set. And then the explosive set is going to go down the line with the sulfur and the plastic in order to actually make the, or the combustible units rather, and then make into explosive sets. Then those are going to go off and do things. And then the missile sets are going to be a 4 input, 1 output. So essentially what's going to happen here, I'll probably also rope in Magnum ammo to, well, no, I'm already doing Magnum. Ooh, but I can do shell sets. So what I'll probably end up doing is having some missile sets and some shell sets being done in the same blueprint, because that's just going to be 4 inputs. And then have 1 logistics station for 2 outputs. And that is basically going to just an input of coal becoming the explosive sets, and then an input of everything else becoming everything else. Sound good? Sounds good. I'll be back. And that is the majority of the militarization done. Like I said, we went on ahead and did the thrusters. That was kind of the first order of business. I think the only reason why it's not quite fully saturated is just as a result of the copper ingots. The copper ingots are a little bit lacking. I'm not entirely sure why that is. It looks like it's just a drone throughput issue, which makes entire sense because we don't have a whole ton of drones in circulation, nor do we have a lot of capacity per drone, nor do we have a lot of power going around. Although we are satisfied in terms of power right now, which is super nice. I'm actually gonna check my power plant, see how it's doing. Looks like it's backing up quite nicely. The buffer is almost completely full. It looks like it's probably... yeah, it's probably going to start running out of its buffer soon, but that's why it has a buffer in the first place, to kind of help out with that. But the thrusters were super duper easy. We've got a little over 6 per second once we upgrade these, so that's nice. We've got the explosive units from the high density things. I forget what they're actually called. But essentially what I ended up having to do here, I did not realize that these needed to be made in a chemical plant, although I should have assumed that because of the sulfur, so that's kind of on me. But what's happening here is the coal comes out and goes into these combustible units. The plastic comes up and over and then back down because the coal doesn't need to continue. The sulfur comes around and belt weaves over and under quite nicely, actually. It was quite a miracle that that happened. All 3 go into the same ratio of the actual explosive units to combustible units, which is nice. And then those all come up into the center so that they avoid collision, and then they go down and into the logistics station. And then over here, everything gets combined nice and neatly together with the copper ingots, the circuit boards, some coal into the combustible units, which go all the way around, and then the engines for the rockets, which go into the logistics station, and then also the shell sets go into here as well. And then I will eventually end up making something that takes the shell sets into the high explosive shell sets, because those are going to be a lot better. And then I can start setting up blueprints for automatic militarization, where we take all of these wonderful things and then put them into a single planetary logistics station with a whole bunch of turrets in a blueprint with some babs, and then just go ham on some dark fog bases, which I think will be very nice in the near future. I didn't end up adding these yet because I ran out of time IRL, but it's literally going to be the same process, except for we're going to need blue motors, which we don't have yet. This one can actually be fully made, which is super nice to see. The babs can also be fully made. We are going to have to add a planetary logistics station. Actually, that's something I need to do before we end for today. We're going to need to add a planetary logistics station. More than likely, that's going to end up being on the side over here, and that is going to bring in the things like the little rocket engines that we currently do not have being put into the bot mall, because we need those for the BAB, we need those for the missile turrets. We have everything for that, and we have everything for this in the mall, at least. Not so much in terms of actually fully automated yet, but that's okay. I think the next order of business for us, kind of like I was mentioning earlier, is going to be blue motors, which are not going to be an all-in-one like the green motors. They're going to depend on the green motors. I think that's going to be fine. And then we're also going to do the particle containment fields, these guys, particle containers, so that we can actually have those. And then we'll also do titanium alloys. And then in terms of extra planetary endeavors, we will eventually end up having silica, titanium, and crystal silica coming in from our secondary occupied planet, our secondary occupied planet. And then we will also automate processors on that planet by automating circuit board production, microcrystalline components, and then processors, so that we can have the processors sent back and save on interstellar logistic vessel travel, because those guys start to get a little crazy. And because of the fact that we're going to be expanding to interplanetary logistics through the interstellar logistic stations, I think it is probably going to be time for us to enter into the Dyson swarm and actually establishing solar sails. And I can't wait to see whether or not the dark fog is going to be completely and entirely pissed off at us for that. But I think because of our planetary obliquity, what's probably going to happen is we're going to end up turning one of the two poles into, probably this one, we're going to turn our pole into a solar sail EM rail ejector hub. And if I take a look at our orbits relative here, we can see that our planetary orbit inclination for this guy is what we want to look at is 3 degrees. So something in the plane is probably going to be the best, and we can also just kind of see that via looking at the poles here. Actually, something in the plane probably wouldn't be best. We're probably going to want a high inclination orbit, kind of like these guys have, kind of like the swarm has. And with the high inclination orbit, we're probably going to want the ejection point to be somewhere up here, which is going to depend on the longitude of the ascending node. And that will be enough orbital mechanics to not turn away viewers. And we'll work on that when we get there. But for right now, we have quite a few tasks at hand. Some stuff I'll end up doing off camera, like setting up the rest of the mall. And then some stuff that I will do on camera again, like the blue chips, or the blue chips, that's way later, the blue motors, and etc. But that is going to be it for today. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, y'all.